recently there was a skeletal discovery by scientists that really points towards the dragons of the Bible being a reality. Way more reality than what scientists originally thought this was. Now, before we get into this, I do want to take a moment and thank our sponsor, Victory Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Kansas City, Kansas, for not just supporting our channel, but being the hands and feet of Jesus Christ by building orphanages, having food pantries, and battered women's shelters. But also, we partnered with them and we're giving away a free fishing boat. Right now, you could enter to win a brand new Tracker fishing boat with a brand new Mercury motor and a brand new trailer. All you have to do is call Victory Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Kansas City, Kansas. Tell them God Family and Gun sent you and you want to be entered to win the free boat. That is it. And then there will be a drawing around the 4th of July. Now, if you go in and test drive a car from them, you actually get 10 entries. If you buy a car from them, you get 100. But for one entry, man, just give them a call. It's free. All right, so what are we getting at? Well, recently there was a discovery of the skeletal remains of a Spinosaurus. And up until this point, they had actually not seen an entire skeleton ever. As a matter of fact, if you look at Jurassic Park, what a Spinosaurus does is it runs. It's real big and it runs. But Job saw something different in the Bible, and this is very important because really it's the discovery of dragons is what it is. So we're going to go to Job 41:1. Can you draw out Leviathan with a hook or snare his tongue with a line which you lower? Can you put a reed through his nose or pierce his jaw with a hook? Will you make many supplications to you? Will he speak softly to you? Will he make a covenant with you? Will you take him as a servant forever? Will you play with him as with a bird? Or will you leash him for your maidens? Will your companions make a banquet of him? Will they apportion him among the merchants? Can you fill his skin with harpoons or his head with fishing spears? Lay your hand on him. Remember the battle. Never do it again. Now I'm going to pause real quick because what he's talking about a very ferocious animal that Job is very familiar with. He's seen these before. He's essentially saying you don't go after these things, remember? All right, let's keep going. Indeed, any hope of overcoming him is vain. Shall one not be overwhelmed at the sight of him? No one is so fierce that he would dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand against me? Who has preceded me that I should pay him? Everything under heaven is mine. I will not conceal his limbs, his mighty power, or his graceful portions. Who can remove his outer coat? Who can approach him with a double bridle? Who can open the doors of his face with his terrible teeth all around? His rows of scales are his pride, shut up tightly with his seal. One is so near another that no air can come between them. They are joined one to another. They stick together and cannot be parted. His sneezings flash forth light, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning lights. Sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke goes out of his nostrils as from the boiling pot and burning rushes. So now we're getting into kind of this fire-breathing type of creature. Let's keep going. His breath kindles coals and a flame goes out of his mouth. Strength dwells in his neck and sorrow dances before him. The folds of his flesh are joined together. They are firm on him and cannot be moved. His heart is as hard as stone, even as hard as the lower millstone. When he raises himself up, the mighty are afraid. Because of the crashing, they are beside themselves. Though the sword reaches him, it cannot avail, nor does spear, dart, or javelin. He regards iron as straw and bronze as rotten wood. The arrows cannot make him flee. Sling stones become like stubble to him. Darts are regarded as straw. He laughs at the threat of javelins. His undersides are like sharp potsherds. He spreads pointed marks in the mire. He makes the deep boil like a pot. He makes the sea like a pot of ointment. He leaves a shining wake before him. One would think the deep had white hair. I'm going to pause there because now it's clearly this is a swimming creature. So what we're talking about is we're talking about a creature that it lives in the water, but can also come out of the water. But clearly when it's in water, it makes the deep boil. And when he's talking about it's like silver threads, it's because he's got like a fin, he's ripping through the current. And if you were above him, you would just see like silver lines in the water where he swims. Let's keep going. On the earth there is nothing like him, which is made without fear. He beholds every high thing. He is king over all the children of pride. All right, so here what we're looking at is we're looking at an animal that Job is familiar with, that he's actually seen this thing before. He's battled up against it. He's witnessed battles up against it, and you can't prevail. It's going to beat you every single time. It can't be bridled. It can't be tamed. It can't be caught. It can't be killed. It just is going to mutilate you if you get near it every single time. And the description it gives is really an exact description of a Spinosaurus if Spinosauruses were swimming creatures. Now, the reality is they are swimming creatures. Now that they've discovered this full skeleton in Libya, that it actually has fins. It does not have legs like we see in Jurassic Park. It has fins. This is a swimming creature. Now, I want to make a couple notes. Number one, Job has seen this animal. Like, it's something he's seen. Now, Job is the oldest book in the Bible. It's probably the oldest complete text on the planet. Around 5,500 years old is what the book of Job is estimated to be, potentially. And as we look at this animal, it's something Job's very familiar. But this same animal was brought up in Isaiah as well. Isaiah 27 verse 1, in that day the Lord with his severe sword, great and strong, will punish Leviathan, the fleeing serpent. Leviathan, that twisted serpent. And he will slay the reptile that is in the sea. So here, Isaiah is using this animal as an example of how dominating Jesus will be when he returns in that day. But what he's saying is that animal, like even Isaiah is familiar with this animal. Like even he's like, that animal, like God is going to slay that. Like that thing that cannot be slain, God is going to slay that thing. So he's using it as an example, but it's still an example that he's familiar with, that the readers would be familiar with. So I think there's a couple things we need to make note of, really, is that writers of the Bible know of this animal and they know what it looks like. Like we just saw in Job great description of what a Leviathan looks like and how it plays out. And this would be the modern dragon. So ultimately what we've seen is Job said, here's what it looks like. But scientists were like, no, there's nothing like that on the earth. It kind of sounds like a Spinosaurus if only Spinosauruses swam. Well, hey, guess what? Now we know that they actually swim. So it's like Job knew it, but scientists did not. And now science has literally discovered the skeletal remains of what Job has been describing as a dragon, otherwise known as a Leviathan. So there you go. Any thoughts or insight on any of this, definitely put that below. Also, don't forget to sign up to win that boat as well. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests. So please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.